Morning, grade 10. Okay, today is the topic of percentage, and on the week planner, it states very clearly in the beginning that you must study your summary. That is the one that we have copied from the whiteboard in class. And I know that now that you go back, you probably don't remember exactly what you have written there. So I'm going to do that summary again. Okay, so in percentages, if you look on page 10 in your textbook, there are basically the 4 types of calculations that you must be able to do. I will go through number 1 and 2 now and then send a video on 3 and 4 later. So if you look at number 1 says expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. So what it really means is that you're going to calculate something where your answer will be a percentage. So that's the one that I called percentage asked. Okay. Now, before we go on, let's just go back to what is the meaning of percentage. And remember, I stood on the board and I said to you, please clearly check what am I writing. And I written this, which is a 1. And then you said 0, 0. So what we really write is 100. Okay. So a percentage, people, is basically a fraction out of 100. Remember this. This is the 1. This is the 0. This is the 0. Okay. So when we now go to the first type of question that is being asked is when they give you quantities and they ask, the question is how much percent or what is the percentage. Okay, so the percentage is the question mark. Okay, now remember, those calculations are always based on a fraction times a number. Okay, and what you need to remember, that if you are asked a percentage, that number will always be 100. Okay, which means from the question or the exercise that is given, they will give you a certain amount out of another amount. So let's look at an example. It's the easiest. And I told you, always associate the percentage asked with a test mark, okay? Maths test. If you got 45 out of 60 for a maths test, then the question now is, what percentage is that? So this is what you do every time that you get a mark from me, where you have to calculate your percentage and write it into your homework book. Okay, now let's look at this number sentence. You have to have a fraction, okay, and you have to multiply that by 100. Okay, you have to multiply by 100 because your answer must be a fraction out of 100. So now it's really easy, people. You got 45 out of 60. So what is the total amount for the test? It is 60. So the total amount always goes at the bottom, isn't it? And then the mark you got is 45. Okay? So when you now calculate 45 out of 60 times 100, you will find that this is 75. And remember, it's percentage, so it really means the same as 75 out of 100. Okay, that's the one for percentage asked. Okay, then the second one that we done is where a percentage is given. Okay, we ticked it, meaning that the percentage is given. Same calculation, people. You got a fraction, okay, a fraction times a number, times a number. Okay, so the basic number sentence is the same. It's a fraction times a number. Okay, but now remember, when the percentage is given, it is always already a fraction because remember, it is out of 100. So in this case, people, it's really easy. If the percentage is given, this one makes up the fraction. Okay, so if we apply this now here, you will have 75%, meaning 75 out of 100. Okay, and now what is the number that you must multiply? The number is then given in your question. So this one says, if you got 75% for a test, how many marks would you get if the test was out of 60? Okay, so this is the total amount, isn't it? So now you would just simply multiply this by 60. And if you calculate that, you would find that this is 45. And this is now not a percentage, people, because this really is 45 marks out of the 60 are correct. Okay, and if you now compare 1 and 2, okay, they are exactly the opposite. Here, the mark is given, okay, out of 60, and the percentage is asked. Here, the percentage is given, and in a test out of 60, how many marks would you get? So that is the number 1 and number 2. And remember, I told you people that the first thing you do when you see percentages is you're going to identify, is the percentage asked or is the percentage given? And from that, you know your number sentence is a fraction times a number. Okay? You must then remember that if the percentage is asked, you must multiply by 100. Okay? And if the percentage is given, then you must remember that the fraction is actually the percentage. So I hope this helps. Please go back and study your summary, compare it to the video, please, and ensure that you can understand, that you do understand this. And if not, please let me know.